Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Woolverine podcast. My name is Laura and I am your host. Today is a somewhat special episode of this podcast. It was my Podiversary on the 20th of January. That was the first time I uploaded a video, and this time last year, 2017. So I didn't get a chance to podcast last week, so I'm here with you today on Saturday the 27th, celebrating 1 year of the Woolverine podcast. So I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has watched since the beginning, or if you're a new viewer, or anyone who's just taking some time out to spend with me and look at what I'm up to in my knitting life. So to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of the podcast, I'm going to do a little giveaway, a small little one. All you have to do is comment below this video and just whatever, ask me a question, comment on something you like, anything really, nothing too complex, and then I will pull a winner before the next time I podcast, and I will let you all know who the winner is. So for the prize I have a small little giveaway here. So it is a skein of green elephant yarn in this really nice kind of denim-y blue colour, and orange with like flecks of hot pink, and this is the All Out of Love colourway on her merino nylon base. So 75-25, it's 100 grams, 425 meters, and Fiona is a really good Irish star, so I'd recommend you checking her out if you haven't already, and it's green elephant yarn. So I'm going to give this away, and then also a little canvas bag. So this is a small little bag here. It says knitting is my jam. I think it's kind of cute, and I got this up at Yarn Folk, the festival up in just outside Belfast in August. So I'm going to give this small little prize away to one of the viewers of the podcast. So yeah, just comment below this video. So you probably have 2 or 3 weeks before I actually podcast again in order to get your entries in. But yeah, any comment is welcome, so just post down below. As well as that, you can find me, if you're a new viewer, you don't know who I am, my name is Laura, and you can find all my social media type activity linked down below in the description box. You can find my Instagram, Ravelry, and the group for the podcast there as well. So go over and check them out and join and get involved. That'd be great, thank you. So yeah, I think that's all the admin stuff. Oh no, I wanted to mention a yarn festival that is happening in Ireland this year, and it is called Woolen. So it's being organised by the lovely people from This Is a Knit Shop, so Jenny of Townhouse Yarns and Lisa, and they are organising a yarn festival for all us Irish people, which is fantastic. I think it's the first kind of big proper Irish yarn festival. We have smaller ones kind of scattered around the country, but this I think is going to be the mecca for us Irish yarners, or yarn lovers even. So they have lots of classes. Justine Lakowska, Nathan Taylor, the Stockmatician podcast, Willie Wormhead I believe is giving some classes. There's loads of people, and they've just started announcing vendors. So I'll put the link down below of the Woolen website where you can register for their newsletter, and they've been sending out the vendors so far. So I think so far they've announced Travel Knitter, Emerald Fibres, who makes really nice project bags. I have one of Kira's bags and I love it very much. I know she is vending. Who else did I see? I know Babble's Travelling Yarns, my parent Grace, is vending there this year. And yeah, there's going to be lots and lots of yummy delicious yarn for everyone to try out. So make sure you go over and register for that newsletter. It's really handy location for international travellers. It's in Alsa, which is in a hall just outside of the airport, literally just outside Dublin Airport. So you can fly in for a day. It's on for it's in May, sorry, the last weekend of May I believe. But yeah, I'll put all the details below, and you should go register and definitely come. If you're planning on coming, let me know down below. I'll definitely be there, and I'd love to meet some of you guys. Later on in the podcast, I'm going to go through my Make 9 plans for this year. I've already started some of my projects, but I will go into more detail about them in further on the episode. So, shall we get into the knitting content? I think so. So, where we start? I've got like yarn and deliciousness all over here. So yes, we'll start with finished objects. I have one finished object this week, and it is something I showed last episode. So here it is. This is the Peepo Pie kind of waistcoat vest type thing, and it is a pattern by Jolie's Kitchen. And I knit the age 4 size. It seems quite small. I did get gauge, but it does seem to be a bit on the small side. So I knit this out of Cascade 220 in the Aspen Heather colourway. And yes, I do need to get some buttons for this little fellow, but it's going to be for one of my little cousins, I think. But I think this would work for a boy or a girl. I think it's quite cute. Just throw it over a shirt for a boy with a little pair of jeans, or over a little dress for a little girl. I think it would be very cute. So this is age 4, but I'd say this, I don't know if it would fit a 4-year-old. I'm not really too sure of kids' clothes sizing, but it seems quite small. But it was a nice little fun little knit, and I enjoyed it very much. So I knit that on 4mm needles. I had the right gauge, and I gave it a little wash there during the week, and I'm happy to have that done. I think that's the first finished object of 2018. So yeah, pretty good. I have a half finished object, which I had started last week also, and that is my Clark socks. So this is a pattern by Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, which is one of my absolute favourite podcasts. I love her aesthetic, and I love all the projects that she works on, and I'm really interested in her sewing. She makes the most amazing quilts. I can't sew. I've never sewn before, but she does inspire me to want to do it, because the quilts that she made are amazing. She made like 5, I think, for Christmas as presents, and they were all incredible. So definitely go check out Jacqueline if you haven't seen her before. She also has a couple patterns. So these are the Clark socks. I wonder, can you see the cable better if it is not? So they have a cable running down the front and also down the back. Really cute. She also has another pair of socks called the Irving socks, and she has a hat pattern out as well, the herringbone hat, I think it's called. Or maybe it's called the birch, no, it's called the birch hat, but it's a herringbone stitch, and it's lovely. I really want to knit that as well. Yes, so this yarn is by Maker's Haven. One second, I'm just going to pop it on the sock bucker again to show it off a bit better. Yeah. So this yarn is by Maker's Haven, and it is it was a club that she did. It was the Family Stone Club, so it's nice and Christmassy, and it's these lovely little stripes. So it's kind of this greeny, yellowy, kind of golden, and then these little red kind of faded stripes, and it's just real cozy and traditional. And I just used a red contrast that I had in my stash. And yes, I love these. I have cast on the second sock, so I have the cuff and the first one repeat done of the chart. So I'm hoping to get them done as my January socks and keep on top of my box of socks this year. So fingers crossed. This is also was one of my Make 9 pattern plans. So I am almost done with my first, which is pretty cool. Have that ticked off the list. So I'm hoping to have these socks done by the next time I podcast, and I will show you once they are. And then that will be the first pair of socks to go into the box of socks. So, moving on to works in progress. I have kind of one work in progress to show you, which is another one of my Make 9 projects. It is the Tegna Tee by Boylan Knitworks, or Caitlin Hunter, and I think nearly I'd say 90% of the Make 9 plans I've seen have had this on it. It's a very popular kind of top at the moment, and I can see why it is beautiful. So I am knitting mine out of this beautiful foresty green with these purple and blue kind of patches in it, and this is Malabrigo in the Zarzamora colorway, and it's Malabrigo sock, so it's a fingering weight top with lace detail. I'll put a picture in around so you can see what it looks like, and I will show you my progress now. So it's knit from the bottom up, so I have all the lace bit done. My lace kind of looks like kale or something at the moment. It's quite vegetable-y. And then the stockinette in this is, I love these colours, these kind of purples and greens, and it matches my nails. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I'm just working on the body now up. So it's supposed to be kind of cropped, but I'm gonna knit it a bit longer because I seem to have a ridiculously long torso and midget legs. So that's what I'm gonna do. I do apologise for my dad. He is inside and he's making lots of noise, and it did show up on the last podcast and it was very annoying. But if I don't podcast now, if I wait for him to be done in there, I will lose the light because we have no daylight left in Ireland anymore. It's like insane. So I will have to endure the noise that's going on inside. So I'm talking quite loudly to try and counteract it. Hopefully it does. But anyway, this is the Tegna, and yeah, I'm going to knit it a bit longer. I think it says about 15 inches, I think, from the cast on edge to the underarm is what it should be. I might go to 20. I'll see when I get to 15. This is about 10 at the moment. So when I get to 15, I will see how long it is. I don't think it's going to be long enough. I think it'll be too cropped for my liking, but you can just keep knitting to make it a bit longer. So this is my second Make 9 project, and it should hopefully be done. Like, I did this amount in about a week, so it knits up quite fast. So I can't wait to have this. I can't wait. It's so pretty. So yes, actually I wanted to mention, in the pattern, she does mention the fact that the gauge kind of her test knitters kind of varied widely. So I'm not sure what the pattern calls for, but I went up a good few needle sizes. So to get gauge, I'm on a 4mm needle, and I think it was 3.25 potentially is where it started, or maybe 3.5, but I definitely had to go up a couple needle sizes in order to get gauge. And yeah, I am pretty close now. I think I'm about a half an inch or half a stitch bigger, which isn't the worst. And I went the size because it's supposed to be kind of oversized anyway, so I'm okay with that. It should work out, I think. But anyway, yes, this is, I did the calculations, it's fine. So this is it, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. So that's kind of the only whip I've really worked on. I worked on my Clark socks and this pretty much for the last 2 weeks. So my family are literally the loudest people that have been ever on the planet. So I am going to edit out a lot of what I just recorded because I couldn't hear myself even think, and I found myself shouting to try and overpower the noise that was going on. So I'm going to start going through my Make 9 projects. So I've shown my Tegna and my Clark socks, and now I'm going to move on to the underwing mitts. So I want to knit the underwing mitts by Erica Hauser. I'm not too sure how to pronounce your name. I do apologise if you are watching, which I don't know if you are, but anyway, I do apologise. And these feature on the Make 9, on lots of people's Make 9 this year. They seem like a very popular kind of pattern. I've seen Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast knitting some. Amber from Maker's Haven, I know she was working on a pair. yeah, so they're a very popular pattern at the moment. So I do have some yarn kind of squirreled away for what I want to use for this pattern. So I want to use this leftover skein of Maven by Fine Fish Yarns. I knit a hat out of this last year. It was, what hat was it? It was the Mary Margaret Tam by Margaret Kramer, I believe. And yes, so this is Maven, and I have a good substantial amount left, at least 60 grams I think it is. So that should hopefully do me okay for the mitts. And also from my calculations I will have enough left over from this Zazamora colourway by Malabrigo to use as the darker contrast, and I think they kind of go well together. I love purple and green together, so I think they will be quite nice. So once I finish the Tegna, I might cast these on if I have enough of this left. If I don't, I will need to rethink my plans, but this is definitely going to be one colour, and then I just need to find the contrast, which hopefully will be this. So that is one project. Another one I wish to knit is the Exploration Station by Stephen West, and I was gifted that pattern by Kate of Hawthorne Cottage Craft for my birthday. Thank you very, very much, Kate. I can't wait to knit it. So I am going to do, so I know Stephen West is pretty partial to wild out there colours, but they're not really colours that I will wear. So for this shawl I want to use this trio that I got from Fine Fish Yarns when I was at the Yarn Folk Festival in August. So I'm going to use these three kind of as the colour blocks, and then I'm going to get a kind of dark charcoaly grey, I think, for the kind of dark outlines of each kind of segment. So this is on the to-do list for this year also. I love this one. This one is like, oh, so pretty. These weren't named. This one looks quite like Maven. Different base, but it looks very, very similar, I think, and it is the same dyer. So I'd say this could be Maven, or a very close variation of it. And this one is just, I love the kind of pops and speckles in this, and this is just a quite neutral, light smattering of colour in this. So this was a trio that I bought already pre-packaged set from Terry. I love it. Yes, I think these will be an exploration station. I was going to do a Find Your Fade sweater, or So Faded. I don't know. I think I'll use them for the exploration station with a dark charcoal grey. I think that would work quite nice. And then I'll have bits left and I can use them in socks, and I might do a pair of scrappy socks with them if I have enough left. I don't really know the yardage requirements. I really need to look into that. But that is the exploration station, so I have the yarn for that. So a lot of these projects are going to use yarn that I have in stash, hopefully, so I don't need to purchase more yarn. Next up I have well, not all of them actually. Now I'm looking at my list and I haven't got yarn for a lot of what's left, except for the Virgil tee, which is also a Boylan Knitworks Caitlin Hunter pattern. And I'm going to use, it's a colour work one, so I'm going to hopefully be putting pictures of these as I'm talking about them up so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to use, I think, this kind of colour palette. This kind of light grey and purple kind of for the colour work, and then the body potentially in this grey, this darker kind of, it's kind of green tint to it, but it is grey. This is Briar Patch Totoko Station. It's 100% Perendale, so it is quite rustic, but I don't mind a bit scratchy next to skin. And this is left over from my old romance cardigan that I knit last year. This purple and grey, and I have a good bit of this left as well. So I think I've looked at the yardage and I think I have enough to knit it out of this colour. Now I'm not too sure if there's enough of a contrast here for the colour work, but I will have to knit a little swatch and see what we're working with. So that is another pattern. So that is 3 and the 2 5, there's another 4. So there are 2 Michelle Wong sweaters that I really want to knit. I want to knit the Knox sweater, which is a kind of shorter sweater with all over cables, Michelle Wong special. I'm thinking maybe a mustardy kind of colour for that. I don't have yarn for that. I'm thinking kind of a mustardy, yellowy kind of colour for that, nice and cozy and autumnal. And then I want to knit the Stonecutter. It is an absolute beautiful jumper. I love it ever so. I love the colour that the model has on, the light grey. So I know someone else, who is it? Tabby? Is it Tabby from the Hey Sister podcast? I think is knitting one in a beautiful petal colour by, I'm not sure if she's using Brooklyn Tweed or Quince & Co, but she is using this beautiful petal colour. So I'm going to either knit it in a similar kind of greyish kind of colour to the one in the picture, or in a petally kind of pale pink, not dissimilar to this. This is my Breakwater sweater by Cecily Glow MacDonald, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. In case I didn't, that's what it is. I do like this colour, this kind of pinky, blushy kind of colour is quite me. So I'm thinking either that or a grey staple piece for the wardrobe, and I would wear it to death. To death. So that's the 2 Michelle Wong sweaters. So I don't have the yarn for them, and they will probably be towards the end of the year that they'll get knit, because they are worsted weight sweaters, so probably coming into the autumn winter type time is when they'll get a look in. Another shawl I want to knit is the half pie Oracle by Kristen of the Woolverine podcast, or Woolverine Yarns and the Yarngasm podcast. She created last year a full pie shawl, which was called the Oracle, and I really loved it, but I just don't think I'd be able to wear that shape. So when she came out with the half moon, I thought that was perfect. So I don't have colours or anything in mind for that. I do have a few singles yarns in my stash, so I might take them out and play with them and see if anything calls to me from a colour perspective, but I think I might go with a bit more bright kind of fun colours for that shawl, I think. Haven't fully decided. But that's also on the list. And then finally, oh yes, is the Ranculus. I have no idea how to say this, I do apologise. Your Ranculus sweater. This is it here or wherever it may be. And the inspiration from this came from Julie of Sweet Sparrow Yarns. She knit one out of her Pajama Day colourway, I believe, and it is amazing. I just want Julie's sweater, I think. So I'm gonna knit it. I think she used Angora and her Pajama Day colourway, and I just want a jumper the exact same as that. So I'm definitely going to be contacting Julie and asking her what she knit and how she knit it, and I will be, or if she wants to give me her version, that's fine, I will wear that as well. It is beautiful. It's so soft and delicate and stunning. So yes, that is what I want to knit. So they are Make 9 projects. I also want to knit a box of socks, so there will be 12 pairs of socks, and I have planned out a few months in advance what socks I want to knit each month. So I'm pretty prepared for this year. There will obviously be other projects that draw my focus when they come out or I come across them, so I don't think that I'm only going to make 9 projects this year. I just think that these are ones that are priority for the year. So yes, they are my make 9. Last week I forgot to show the acquisitions that I got for Christmas. So I have 2 items that I wish to share. And speaking of Julie of Sweet Sparrow Yarns, one of the acquisitions is one of her beautiful dye jobs. So this is the self-striping. Obviously this is Ice Cream Shop. So I've had my eye on this skein in Julie's shop for a long time, and I treated myself to it for Christmas / my birthday, and I adore it. It's so beautiful. These colours, this minty kind of robin egg blue with little brown speckles, this pink and this kind of mustardy brownie. Oh, it's beautiful. Caramel. Oh. So these are going to make the most beautiful striped socks. So this is on her nuthatch base, which is her 75/25 merino nylon, and yeah, I'm going to knit a pair of socks out of this for show. Nice pair of vanilla, straight up and down, beautiful stripy socks. Can't wait, love it. For Christmas as well, I got a sweater quantity of yarn off my mom and pop. So I got this beautiful DK, it's just merino. Is it 100% merino? 100% merino. And this is a superwash, yeah, 100% superwash merino in the Rico design, and it is 50 grams, is 120 meters. So yes, this beautiful kind of dusky rose kind of color, and I have a sweater amount of this. So I'm contemplating knitting the All the Love, is that what it's called, or All My Love, or something like that, by Hohi, which was a pattern she released for charity, I believe, an Argentinian charity. I'm not too sure of the details, but I did see it being released kind of around Christmas time, and I think this would be nice in this kind of pinky. I think her sample is knit in kind of pinky colour. It's quite a boxy sweater with kind of lace details somewhere. I did see it, I'll put a picture in, and I did like it, and I think this might work for it. I think it's a DK weight sweater. I have no idea. But yes, I have a DK weight sweater quantity in this beautiful colour from my parents for Christmas, and I love it. I will wear this colour also. It's in the same family as this kind of petally colour, which I do enjoy. I love kind of muted kind of colours. Yes, so that is all my acquisitions, my make 9, my whips, my faux, my hose, woolen, yeah, and the podcast giveaway. So don't forget to enter that, and just comment below. And yes, I will see you all soon. I think that's all I have to share with you guys this week.